where visionaries, entrepreneurs, and artists dream, transform, and create. Rae TV. You are listening to Miracle Moment, and I am your host, Rae Irelan. This is where trailblazing, truth-telling, provocative, and successful entrepreneurs and creatives from around the globe share their number one miracle moment that changed everything, pointing them in the direction of igniting epic soul alignment in their life and business. These renegade souls will show you the behind-the-scenes, real-life magic on how to create a world-class lifestyle of true success. I am so glad you're tuning in. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Miracle Moment. Today we have guest Lian Price, and I'm really excited to have this sister here. We know each other through a bunch of mutual friends out here in San Diego. She actually lives with one of my best friends, and so very near and dear to my heart. And we met, having a dinner at her new home, and it was just love at first sight. As soon as I started hearing more about her story and where she's at in life, what she has created, the way she's showing up in her leadership, it was just amazing to hear. And I was like, ooh, I want to get to know this woman. So she is a 13-year fitness coach and the founder of L3 Method and the Grow Your Booty workshop. She has done something really interesting in the last year that we'll talk about in terms of being able to relate to women going through the weight loss journey. And yeah, I think you just represent like a leader in what is the truth behind being healthy and being fit. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for that intro, Rae. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I want to hear about your story, but let's actually kick it off with what you recently
Sure.
put yourself through, put your body through, because I think it's just so fascinating. And then we'll kind of unwind from there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So this past fall, so we're talking end of September 2021, and then concluding mid-November 2021, I went ahead and did an intentional weight gain process. So like Rae said, I've been a fitness coach for 13 years. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been very fit for a very long time. So there was a part of me that started speaking louder and louder, that voice within, that voice of truth that was like, hey, it's becoming harder for you to relate to your clients who are going through a weight loss journey, maybe for the first time, maybe for the second or third time. You're a little out of touch. And, at first, of course, my ego doesn't want to hear that. I'm so knowledgeable. I know all the things. But if you don't have a visceral understanding, sometimes your ability to coach and help and support is compromised. So I set a goal to gain 18 pounds. And I did that in, just under 3 months. And I kept stalling. So I would stall out at like 6 pounds, I think, 6 or 7, and then 8, and then again at 12. And it got to the point where I couldn't put on any more weight. So I had to keep bringing down my other lifestyle factors to the point where I was like, I have to stop all movement. So I stopped exercising. I stopped even walking. And
Wow.
really intense. Yes, really tough.
That is so wild.
So it was almost like I put my physical health, not that I did anything really horrid, like I didn't go eat at McDonald's every night or something like that, but I put that on pause so that I could A, gain some knowledge for my client's sake, and B, I wanted to work on, and if you want me to open up about that, I can. I wanted to work on some emotional health stuff for me as well.
Can you speak into the emotional health stuff?
Absolutely. So I know this is a generalized statement, and not every woman, I'm sure, would, say that they fall under this umbrella, but I feel that the vast majority of women in America would say that there's a lot of pressure on them with how they look physically.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of emphasis placed on the image, on the physical outer exterior, way we look. And our value can sometimes get wrapped up in that. Now, double that for a fitness coach. We're poster boards, right, for what we preach. If we don't look fit, then people aren't going to hire us. We're not going to keep a roof over our head. So all of that stuff was super tangled up for me. It was, what can I bring to like a romantic partnership if I don't look good, right? Like, where's my worth then? You know, and then as a fitness coach, you know, my value is in how much I weigh, the number on the scale, my muscle tone, you know, how much of a aesthetic physique do I have that women actually want to like also emulate. And then that's caught up, of course, with a lot of root chakra stuff, a lot of like security and safety and like being able to support myself. So it's all tangled up. And I wanted to untangle some of it, bring myself back to a place of remembrance that my value extends so far past what I look like. I have a brain, I have a huge heart, you know, I have so many other things to offer besides just what I look like.
Wow, what a journey. It's amazing to me that you were aware early enough that you like decided to do this from such a conscious place to create that relatability, but also it sounds like it wasn't just for the relatability with your clients, it was also like your own internal relatability as a leader and wanting to be in your deepest congruency with yourself and the self-love matching where your body was at.
Yeah, 100%. I I also at the same time I just threw myself into the fire, and I'm not telling people to do this necessarily, but I looked at what are my two biggest fears. And I know sometimes there are other ways to approach fears, but in this case, I decided to approach them just face on and let all my protectors rise up so that I could see them for what they are and, you know, and develop a different relationship with them. So at the same time, I also became nomadic. And this is because that answer to that question, what are my biggest fears? My two biggest fears, excuse my bluntness, but being fat and being homeless are both irrational, but they were there. And I know that they were holding a bigger hand at the wheel than I might have wanted to admit. So, and listen, it wasn't, being nomadic wasn't terrible. I was sleeping in my Tesla, so it wasn't that bad. Or I was like staying in Airbnbs. I wasn't really, really roughing it. And being overweight, I wasn't, like I said, like eating horrible, horrible things, but I was trying to eat a lot more, and I was trying to eat maybe more unhealthy things. So
yeah, so like what does that look like to you? Because I'm imagining like how many bananas could you eat? You know, so like you gain enough weight. Like what did that actually look like?
Yeah, it's so funny you said that because I went to a grocery store I think it was in Big Bear with a friend. And this was when I had stalled out at like, I don't know, 10 or 12 pounds. And I couldn't gain anymore, and I couldn't figure out why. And I was like, I guess I might have to stop exercising. And I'm grocery shopping, and my friend looks at my cart and is like, no, you can't buy bananas. You can't go get spinach and salad. You're trying to gain weight. Only ice cream, only pizza. Like, get rid of the healthy stuff. So yeah, I was eating a ton of healthy stuff because that's what I enjoy. But I was also trying to have like I'm fully plant-based, so I would have like Ben and Jerry's almond milk ice cream. Like I try to have that every night. I did have like more fast food from like Plant Power, like more greasy stuff, a lot more like of those fake meats, which I kind of consider like a special treat for myself to maybe have once a week. I was trying to have that a lot. So hello, digestive situations.
Yeah. You know, there's also, so I've been on an intuitive eating journey. Part of my background is dealing with a bunch of eating disorders because I grew up in a ballet school.
Yes.
And so that pressure of being a professional dancer and okay, I need to be as skinny as I can be, kind of similar to a fitness coach. Like otherwise, how am I gonna like even pay my bills? So when it comes to like shaking that root of security, it can be really scary and it can put a lot of pressure on. But in my journey with intuitive eating, what I realized is as I actually let go of rules,
because I was so used to having so many rules of everything I couldn't eat, everything kind of balanced out. And so on your end, it's almost interesting because it's like as growing up, I like felt like I couldn't eat, the fatty foods and all of this, and therefore I always craved it. And I'm like listening to your situation, it's almost like you gave yourself such permission that it didn't even sound good to have Ben and Jerry's every night, because you're like, now that almost became the new rules, and you were like, I want to rebel against it. Like, I don't want Ben and Jerry's every night.
Totally, totally. I had such supportive friends too. It was so great how I had people kind of come out of the woodwork and be like, I'll be fat with you for a night. I'll teach you the ropes. Like, this is how you really do it. And like kind of showing me the ropes of like how to pace yourself for honestly like a semi binge. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
That's so funny. Yeah, I think about it like I love these conversations because we can look at kind of the themes in life and look at patterns and what different patterns create. And so here we're kind of like playing with this pattern of like opposing the rules, or like a almost like a rebellious spirit. And I'm curious if you think it would work. Like, have you used that with your clients where maybe you tell them like I want you to gain weight. I want you to like go into the extreme and see if they like do the opposite. Has that ever been something that you like play with?
That's such a great question. And this is going in a different direction, but I love it. Like, yes, I have this conversation almost every week because in my 16-week program, L3 VIP, my VIPs go through a 4-week kind of block. So weeks 1 through 3, they're working out. Week 4 is our deload week. And the premise behind this is, as women, I don't believe we're supposed to work out super hard 52 weeks a year. That can actually age us more quickly. It can definitely contribute to burnout. It's just no bueno. Like, we're meant to be goddesses. We're meant to be queens. That means we get to rest and have things like, if you want to garden and like do some other cool stuff where you're not huffing and puffing, but you're still outside moving and eating, perfect. So deload week is meant for, let's go for a hike. Let's go for a swim. Let's go whatever we want. Honestly, it's just really free flowing. So here's what happens. Weeks 1 through 3, there is that slight rebellion with certain clients where they get like 50 to 80% of the workouts actually accomplished. So then week 4, they want to do a catch up. And I'm like, no, you gotta do a deload week. You gotta rest. And they're like, no, I didn't get enough in first 3 weeks. And now they're rebelling against resting. So yes, and then of course with the nutrition, I get with my restrictive eaters, like those who are dealing with eating disorder, realities, or those who really love to track because there's safety in that logic of like seeing it all on paper. For those types of clients, the rebellion will definitely come through when I want them to have like I don't want to call it cheat meal anymore, like a refeed meal. Like, okay, Sunday brunch, remember, have a big meal. It's really tough for them. And there's some rebellion there. Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah. It's so fascinating. And I love how you in your personal life, going through this process, you really like chose, like it sounds like you sat with your fears and you were like, okay, these are my 2 biggest fears. And you really went straight into them, which is something that I love. I'm called the freedom coach, and a lot of times when I'm working with clients, it's about what are those biggest fears and just fully stepping into them. And I really believe that that's where some of the biggest miracles lay, is when we are in that space of tremble, when we're in that space of kind of like falling to your knees. I'm curious, what was your biggest miracle moment that you've experienced that has kind of shifted everything in your life? One that pops to mind.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm thinking of several, but with that intentional weight gain challenge I gave myself, I think one really beautiful one was when I posted my set of photos when I had finally gained all 80 pounds. That was, I don't remember the exact date, but it was early to mid-November. It's like 2nd week of November, I think. And it felt like I was about to jump off a cliff, like with the finger hovering on post, because I'm a recovering perfectionist, right? I'm sure, successful women can definitely relate to this. The overachieving woman can definitely relate
Yeah.
to always feeling that requirement that we put upon ourselves, and maybe society's putting on us, to just show up perfect, don't have any issues.
Yeah.
So as a fitness coach, I always want to show up perfect on Instagram. I always want to look like I'm in great shape. I always want every angle to look perfect because that's my job, right? And I
Mhm.
hit post, and I put all that cellulite, all those
Ooh.
really extra, like all that bubbliness for the world to see. And the miracle came that, oh my gosh, I was so honored. I was suddenly being like ushered into so many conversations and so many doors opening up for me with so many women that actually trusted me for the first time. Women that followed me, that never, ever, ever sent me a message, or DMing me, thanking me, saying how much they related, like saying lovely things, but then also just telling me their story, just opening up. And it was like the floodgates had just opened, and finally I was being it was like they trusted me to hear their
Mhm.
story, whereas before maybe there was a presumption like, she'll never understand what I'm going through, like that skinny B word, she doesn't get my struggles, you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
so it was just so beautiful that then I could viscerally understand the heartache, the depression, all of that stuff that comes with not non-movement, all that stuff that comes with doing something to your body, knowing that you're doing something harmful. Your body is your biggest ally. Your body is like your sacred vessel, and you're still hurting it on purpose because you're trying to get an emotional need met, but you're doing it anyway. So the polarity that's caused within the system, and the depression and anxiety and all those other feelings that can come from that, suddenly we were having conversations and we were meeting each other. And so I could bring that level of understanding and compassion that I didn't have before with my massive knowledge base, and we were able to like create some beautiful solutions.
Mm. And so when you posted that, you posted it when you were still holding the weight or after?
I posted it the day that scale said 18 pounds up.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. So there, it wasn't like, okay, and I've lost it and like we've moved on from here. You were
Nope, here
there.
I am. So that was the miracle on the
Wow.
client side. I'd say the miracle on the personal side was, is that okay if I share that as well?
Yes, please.
Okay. The miracle on the personal side was like, you know how sometimes if let's say like your deepest, darkest secret comes out and the world just knows and just sees all of
Mm.
you, then there's almost nothing left to lose. So I just started
Mm.
showing up on camera with no makeup and just, I didn't, it was so freeing because I could be myself. Whereas before I was all, a little more buttoned up maybe. And then
Mhm.
deeper within still, I completely transformed my relationship to my own protectors. Whereas before they were like drill sergeants that were running my brain and pulling my neck in the direction to keep going towards, the action steps that were going to ensure that I would stay the weight and the physicality and the yada, yada, yada. And then to go against those for a while, then they start to lose their power a little bit. So now it's like, they have a seat at the table. They can vocalize their opinion. I hope this isn't too woo-woo,
It's
but
amazing.
those voices in your head, those. Like,
Yeah.
but listening to those parts of you that you created a long time ago to stay safe, or I'll say I did in my case, that were trying to do their job, but were working with outdated information. And I was just kind of saying, okay, I hear you. That makes sense. And let's look at our other options. Actually, I don't have to go for a 45-minute run today because it doesn't matter if I look this way at the end of the day or not, type of thing.
Mm, totally. Wow, I love this so much, and just the strength, the courage that you share, and it's such an inspiring story to just really go into authenticity of whatever leadership, you know, you're doing in your life. Like for you, it was the fitness and the weight gain and loss. Others that are maybe listening to this, it might be, business coach or a love and relationship coach or creative and artist, but to really go into the spaces where you feel like you are the most vulnerable with the foresight of the strength that can come out of it and the understanding and the compassion and the deepening of your craft. I mean, it's really truly an inspiring thing to hear and witness. And I know that you're going to be, serving so many lives in this career that you're creating. And I can't even imagine the ripple effect that it's having on just what it means to actually be fit and be aligned with your body and be taking care of yourself, have that self-love and compassion that I think is really at the core of health and wellness. So thank you so much for sharing your story. And what would be the best way for people to stay in touch with you and stay in touch with your journey?
Yeah. So if you have Instagram, it's just my name, Lian Price. No periods, no dashes, nothing, just Lian Price. You can go on my YouTube, Lian Price. My TikTok is also Lian Price. And then you can go to my website, which is l3method.fit.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing your story, and we'll see you all next time. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for checking out this video. Subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't yet, so you can stay up to date for new episodes coming out soon. And remember to witness and acknowledge the miracles and magic in every moment. This is Rae Irelan, and I'll see you soon.